Hello, my name is Jasmine Jones, and I will be going over the Chapter 1 overview for PSEL, the Professional Standards for Educational Leaders, and the North Carolina Standards for School Executives for the ELPS 604 course, The Role of Principalship. Why should school leaders have standards? I feel like school leaders should have standards because, for one, it helps with accountability, not only for the school and the teachers, but also for the students. These standards serve as a rubric to help guide and instruct not only students, but also the leaders as well as teachers. I also feel like it promotes student and teacher success. Again, these standards, they serve as a rubric so that the teachers can know what they need to follow to get to student success, as well as the students are being prompted by certain standards that they have to learn. So in the end, the ultimate goal is for student teacher success. So these standards help get to student and teacher success. And I also feel like the expectations of what school leaders and teachers should know, again, they serve as a purpose to help maximize or get to the student's highest potential. So these standards serve as that purpose. The professional standards for educational leaders, there are 10. Standard 1 is mission, vision, and core values. Standard 2 is ethics and professional norms. Standard 3 is equity and cultural responsiveness. Standard 4 is curriculum instruction and assessment. Standard 5 is community of care and support for students. Standard 6 is professional capacity of school personnel. Standard 7 is professional community for teachers and staff. Standard 8 is meaningful engagement of families and communities. Standard 9 is operations and management, and Standard 10 is school improvement. Mastering professional standards for educational leaders. The two that I feel that all leaders should master for the PSEL standards were Standard 8, meaningful engagement of families and communities. I think this is an important standard because it goes back to making meaningful and impactful relationships to help build with student success, creating relationships outside of the school for different opportunities for student success. I believe that you cannot maximize the student's potential just within the school. Getting the community behind you to help students get to their highest potential actually goes a long way. And it also helps with building that trust and having a support system, again, having that support system outside of the school as well as in the school. And getting families on board with what the teachers are trying to do and what the school is trying to do, I feel like goes a long way, and it also helps get to student success. Standard 2, my second standard that I feel like all leaders should master would be Standard 4, curriculum instruction and assessment. This standard is important because I feel like it shows how to promote growth, knowing how to read and interpret data for growth, knowing content to help teachers show growth and proficiency. Again, having students reach their maximum potential is very important within the schools. Leaders should be able to provide teachers with different types of opportunities so that they can know how to read and interpret data. Again, that goes back to having PLCs, professional learning communities within the school, having data meetings so that they can know how to grow their students. And knowing content to help teachers show growth and proficiency. Again, an effective leader, in my opinion, knows the curriculum just as well as if they were actually teaching the curriculum in a classroom. I think it's very important for the leaders to know the content that their teachers are teaching the students. so that they can serve as as the leader, as an administrator, so that you may have a beginning teacher that's struggling with, well, I'm not even going to say struggling, that may be weak in teaching a certain standard or content. But as that leader, you could go in and show her different ways or give her examples on how to teach this content so that the growth can be shown as well as the proficiency. The North Carolina standards, Standard 1 is strategic leadership, Standard 2 is instructional leadership, Standard 3 is cultural leadership, Standard 4 is human resource leadership, Standard 5 is managerial leadership, Standard 6 is external development leadership, Standard 7 is micropolitical leadership, and Standard 8 is academic achievement leadership. The top two for the North Carolina standards that I feel that all leaders should master, I said Standard 2, instructional leadership, knowledgeable of the best instructional and school practices for the creation of a collaborative structures within the school for design of highly engaging schoolwork for students, the ongoing peer review of this work, and sharing of this work throughout the professional community. You're knowledgeable of the 21st century content or curriculum. Support teachers need. The leader should be able to provide that support to the teachers in the school and even outside of the school, revolving persistently through learning and guiding conversations about instruction. And again, this is being able to provide your teacher with the newest and the latest best practices. So that may come from going to professional development. A teacher should be able to come to their administrator and be like, hey, I've seen this professional development. I would love to go to this. I think this is just going to help strengthen my content. And again, setting high expectations. As a leader, you should have very high expectations, not only for your teachers and staff, but as well as for the students. Standard 7 is a micropolitical leadership. It builds systems and relationships that utilize staff diversity, encourage constructive ideological conflict in order to leverage staff expertise, power, and influence to realize the school's vision for success. That goes back to having a school improvement team to make decisions. No leader should feel as if they can run a school by themselves, because you cannot. In reality, you have to have a strong team, and you have to be able to have people that's on your team that can make sound decisions that are going to impact and make meaningful decisions based off your students. The students' needs should always come first. Your teachers and staff should be able to come to you so their voices are heard, and you should be accessible to all staff, not just the teachers, but the custodial staff, the cafeteria staff, the janitorial staff. You should be able to have that relationship and talk to all staff and teachers within your building. Reflections on the standards. So once I become a principal, I feel like Standard 7 from the professional standards of educational leaders, the professional community for teachers and staff, I feel like this will be an easy task for me because I'm all about promoting teacher and staff engagement. I feel like having a school morale, making it a positive environment, not only leads to happiness within the building, but also leads to student success. And I believe it's very important for teachers and staff to feel appreciated and valued. From firsthand experience, I feel like I've been placed in situations where, as a teacher, that I have not been appreciated and valued. So I would never want my staff to feel like they have been unappreciated and not valued. So I feel like because I've had that experience of not feeling appreciated and valued, I know that my number one thing would be building morale, telling my teachers how they're doing a good job, letting them know even if sometimes they're not doing a good job, but approaching them in a way so that it is received, and it's received in a positive way. The standard that I feel like that may be a little more challenging for me would be the ethics and professional norms. This standard may be tough at first when I become a principal because I just want to make sure that I'm making very ethical and not making any unethical decisions or any unbiased decisions that will not only affect me in the profession, but will affect my students and staff. So as I conclude, the professional standards for educational leaders and the North Carolina standards for school executives, I feel like they, although the professional standards for educational leaders, there are 10 of them, and for the North Carolina standards for school executives, there's only 8. I feel like they still go hand in hand. I feel like the ultimate the ultimate practice for all the standards is having teacher success and having student success. The goal is to make sure that as a leader, you are following these standards so that you can reach your highest potential in your profession by making sound decisions that are not only going to have a positive impact on your students, but will also have a positive impact on your staff. So I feel like leaders, they need standards in the education world so that student success can be done within the school.